Yeah. My name is Frank Howard. I am a native, of the Southeast. I say it that way because I've moved around between, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida primarily. I was 4 years in the military, and then I started a professional retail career where I spent time with, Fortune 500 companies like Sears, Macy's, and Apple, all of which I was in the capacity of a general manager, operations, and marketing directors in that capacity. The idea, for my business, for Howard Capital Finance, came about as I started moving around myself in the real estate arena and meeting professionals and looking at the type of service that they delivered. And I, have an affinity for real estate and the process itself, which is, kind of where that segue occurred. But what I noticed is that there was a huge need for individuals in the financial space or didn't have financing in place. And I wanted to be, servant for the community as it relates to that, especially in the Atlanta metro area. And so I started doing my research, studying, licensing, to be able to bring that, into fruition, for myself and for my community. That's the vision behind Howard Capital Finance. What I really would love to do is be able to not only connect with individuals, but I think education is a huge part of it. And there's so much that, customers or consumers or people just, wanting to obtain their dreams don't know. And so that's the fun part for me. That's by and large, the vision for Howard Capital Finance. Although my activity level is not where it's going to be or where I want it to start, I wish that I could go back just a little bit, to do more studying, because it becomes increasingly more difficult regardless of what activity level you have. And again, I would consider mine to be moderate, but I find it, challenging, to do that once things start moving. So, I wish I could go back and really nail all of it down before the first phone call was made. When I first, started, I wanted to zero in on the residential. There were, of course, because of market conditions and, the type of questions and individuals that I were engaging, that's primarily what they were looking for. So I wanted to make sure that I specialized there first to be able to provide that type of service. But as time has gone along, I start to meet investors and many people in the commercial space. So there's definitely a need there. But the primary for Howard Capital Finance will be focusing on the residential lending. Yeah, we're still working out, again, we're still in the startup phase. The support they have been giving is great, right? And, guiding along on, some of the pieces, but then looking at, how do you continue to grow the business? How do you let people know what you're doing? How do you really touch the community? A large part of that is word of mouth. So I do a lot of that, myself, but then the support that they've been giving me has been incremental in the early stages. So we're starting, to touch more people. Again, it's very early in that process, but I'm seeing, more customers week over week, and that's a great thing. Yeah, no, I think what really went well is, the scripts. I stay, pretty close, to reading the scripts, and, I think they exist because they're successful, first and foremost, and engaging the customers. The cool thing about it is, there were so many people, and that I'm excited about that, weren't a no, but maybe in that moment that I called, they weren't ready to move, but they definitely gave me the timeline and said, all right, can you call me back at point X? So I've got a pipeline that I've got to circle back with, and that's activity, that I definitely need, within my company and being able to get things up and running. So I appreciate those pieces. I think that is the component that I'm most fond of, that again, people need money. But in the moment, as you talk to them, it may not be that second, but they know when. They know what their operations look like. They know that they're going to have to infuse that. And as long as I'm continuing to nurture those relationships, that pipeline will be there. So that's been great. I've been joining a lot of groups just to hear discussion. Right. And, he sent me a private message. He's like, hey, do you do this? And that's how the conversation started. I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about what you need. I know critical feedback is important, but I don't have any recommendations for you, because as every step has gone along, you guys have been there, been supportive, responsive, and guided me in the right direction when I had no idea. So I would just say keep doing that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And I'll always, and I know Sandra feels this way too, we don't feel like we ever do enough. But just know, if I'm not talking to you, it's because I'm in the background trying to figure out a better way to get some better leads in front of you that they'll definitely convert to some better sales for you. That's mainly what my objective is, constantly. So just know that, okay?
Thank you.